talking about AI, the hottest topic for, I think for the years to follow. And like we have Niraj in the house, so let's begin this conversation with you. You are at the heart of, like all the experiments that are happening at WPP office in India when it comes to AI. What are some of the things that you are experimenting with right now, like, that has, your client interest?
All right, I guess I see the landscape from a very different lens altogether.
Yeah.
Like while you were visiting us at the Experience Center and I was talking about a narrative which we kind of decode in our Experience Center as empowering 1 billion Indians. And if I were to just slice it and give you a perspective, we are saying India has 1 billion guys who are connected on mobility. And India has these bunch of kids, Zen Alpha kids as we call it, our kids who are latching onto gaming platforms like Roblox and Minecraft, right? Eventually, whether these are 350 million guys who are on bottom of the pyramid, on baseline dumb phones or feature phones as we call it, or the Zen Alpha kids, they are latching onto some level of bandwidth to make a connect to the larger world, where brand needs to move in with a lot of creativity and technology and make a play out there, right? Now, in that space, I kind of divide India into many Indias, and I talk about a segment wherein what role would AI play for an audience which is not connected on internet? And how can you build the next level of most inclusive tech stack? For example, Ajay was speaking sometime back in when Ajay was with Godrej. We had created a platform called Godrej Fast Card Ki Pathshala for those 1 rupee cards, like for baseline phones. And the insight there was people in Bihar, they get super excited about learning English. So you're teaching them small statements where you need to dial up and say, Suprabhat ko English mein kehte hain good morning, beep ke baad aap bole good morning. Right? So guys used to say with some diction, my system used to rank them. This is 5 years back, right? Next day morning, they say, Sarpanji, good morning. And the guy says, Bhai, tune Angrezi kahan se sikhi hai? And that's why they say, right? Mujhe Godrej ne sikhaya, So even on a baseline phones, you can still create advocates. And now with AI, you can pretty much do mind-blowing stuff through the telephone AI interfaces which I am building. If you see my recent campaign, which is Parvarish ki baat, Pankaj nahi, Papa Tripathi ke saath. Right? It was a campaign which was taken to baseline phones guys who are not using internet for Milk Bikis, Britannia, right? But it gave the power to the consumers out there to come on a live audio dialogue bridge with Pankaj's AI avatar and have a live dialogue around Parvarish ki baat. So even if it's a baseline phone, you can pretty much call up 22 languages, and we are now moving towards dialect. It's no more like having conversations on 22 languages out there, but 780 dialects is what we are all chasing, right? So our models are such that we just not create the AI avatars of celebs, but we do voice to voice. So we get the dialects recorded by an ace voiceover artist and we mash it with the AI model. So suddenly Pankaj starts sounding like Pankaj with so many dialects, biscuit, biscuit, blah, blah, right? And he's inviting people to have a live dialogue with him on a very purposeful subject out there, right? So I see that if you take AI to the bottom of the pyramid, which is these 350 million user, and you build for inclusion, and most of the growth now is coming in from rural India, right? A lot of brands are focusing on that. And you've got to make these smart solutions for dumb phones, as I call it, right? And AI is going to help you do that. It's monumental for us. And then I talk about this space where 200 million people who are clocking 200 Mbps better than European markets, who are moving on to super highways of 5G. So 5G is not here to watch videos, right? We've done it a lot at 10 Mbps on 4G regular highways. With 5G, we will lean back on computing. So in our Experience Center, we talk about the next level of computing, immersion. How do we get characters to pop in? We were just listening to some amazing talks on celebrities and how can you get them rolling. You saw that, right? Yeah. They can come in 3D and they are having a live dialogue with you. So stuff like that. So whether it's guys at the bottom of the pyramid or at the elitist of Indian, you can still go out there, blend these tech trends with creativity and create solutions which resonate with audiences out there.
Yeah, and so with a larger audience
absolutely,
as well.
Scale.
Not just, those powered with A18 Bionic on with Apple Intelligence or, the latest chipset on the smartphones. But having said that, Murthy, you're someone, which has that kind of scale to tap into, like the consumers of the Bharat, so to speak. So how in the banking sector you balance AI-powered automation to reach out to these consumers along with, let's say human empathy in customer experience from a Bombay, a city like Mumbai, to let's say an area like Palakkad or even Muzaffarpur for that matter?
So I want to open this saying that Ghibli ke piche kya hai? We've been thinking about it and talking about it so much. At the end of the day, it's a human face which looks far more attractive today. So the future of AI or future of technology is still going to be human. Coming down to what you're saying, I also want to tell you one more statistic. Today, we are a very, very proud 5 lakh crore bank. We touch 5 lakh crores today. It only means that we are closer at a sniffing distance to become among the top 5. A lot of this journey has happened in the absence of AI. AI has come up now, or technology which came up 20 years back. But the fact of the matter is that the progress that we have had as an organization is because of our people, because of the service orientation, and we are a service business, and they have gone and adapted AI. So these are the 2 background points I wanted to give you when you look at Federal Bank in context. How do we go out and use it? It is exciting for us because today, as we become a universal bank, it allows me to use multiple languages. It allows me to use multiple dialects. Are we using AI? Phenomenally, we are using AI. We are using AI to track our ATMs. We are using AI in risk. We are using AI in compliance. Marketing is really high speed now because a lot of creatives come out. Newsletters are coming on AI. The search is happening on AI. And I'm very proud to tell you that we are perhaps the only brand globally which explicitly says that imagined by human, created by AI. Because for a bank, trust is the most fundamental thing, and we want our audiences to know. So that's how we are bridging various generations of people. We are bridging geographies and also hopefully delivering value to our shareholders in the market.
Yeah, and how does, Arvind, my next question to you is for financial institutions like Piramal Finance, how do you provide, this hyper-personalized experiences without, crossing the ethical boundaries? Because ethics and AI is like the larger question that people are asking across the world. Not so much in India so far, but, in regions like EU, in US, it's already been discussed at length. So how do you do that?
So maybe I'll start with an analogy. So, when we have an AI model, we look at the AI model much like how you would see a fresh management graduate. Except that management graduate has probably had so much of width of knowledge, but doesn't really know how to apply it. So really, you got to be able to channel, harness, really put them through the same growth path that you would do for any other sort of management trainee. So with that analogy, and look, we're a regulated entity. I mean, we come under the RBI. We're, like, everything that we do is pretty much prescribed. Murthy can second that. So a lot of the governance is automatically there. But also, I think the stand that we took, because we want to be able to serve a set of people who are really unbanked. I mean, who don't have, the traditional financial system, doesn't really underwrite them. So we kind of started, when we were in the drawing board, we pretty much started as a cloud company. So pretty much everything and anything that we do had like traditional AI models built in it. So whether it's risk, whether it's compliance, whether it's underwriting to policy, and it's kind of now infused using CX. So a lot of the personalization happens because we are talking about, this whole Bharat Wala phenomenon with dialects, with languages and all of that. So then we figured that, look, we need to be able to build muscle on voice. Voice as as an overall capability, which really is today, is not there yet. Really, one could claim, but we've often found that it's tougher to build. So we're trying to build it in-house. We're using some of the Bharat API stack to do that. But really take that and see how we can infuse it. So a lot of conversational analytics, personalization, and a lot of that comes from, how the agent or rather the bot interacts with customers. So.
Yeah. And, Sheetal, over to you. For a co-working space like Awfis, how are you redefining the customer experience using AI for space management and also for personalized offerings to, the people who take that space?
So I'm glad that co-working has brought workspace into the focus because I think we spend 10, 12 hours at work, but we don't really discuss it enough. So I'm going to address your question with space management first. With space management, the simple stuff is energy efficiency, underutilized spaces. How do you work in your space vis-a-vis how someone else works based on their geography, the generation, the locality, the micro-market that they're going to. So AI really helps us analyze all that so that the experience that we are creating along with the space that we are creating is quite personalized. So we have a concept of me and we spaces where how much time am I spending alone, isolated, focused work, vis-a-vis how much am I spending collaborating. AI helps me understand usage of that space because space design is not just the aesthetics, it's about how it functions, how it helps you function. So, it really helps us, even our layouts, we're using AI to create those layouts and customize layouts. And the second part to your question, in terms of personalization, especially for co-working, we curate a lot of employee engagement activities, and we do a lot for our clients. Now we try to create a whole wealth of experience for them. So you have food fests, you have retail pop-ups, you have knowledge sessions like this. But what we are trying to do is personalize that experience, almost like how Netflix recommends something. That's exactly what we are trying to curate with AI. And AI helps us with that at a macro level in terms of different regions work differently, and also at a micro level where BKC works very differently from a Thane micro market.
Okay. When it comes to all of these experiments, Niraj, that you do with AI, how do you ensure that there is no loss in human connection while you are doing it? What are some of the challenges in including that, as the technology keeps on rapidly evolving with each passing day?
I mean, you got to just constantly prototype. If I were to just give you a quick perspective on evolution of AI at my end, I think in the pre-GPT era, me and the CCO of VML, we were jamming on insurance comms. And me and Mukund, we were discussing, and Mukund says, I don't want to create the same insurance comms where I would go on the TV and tell people that buy insurance, if you die, what happens to your family? I want to build something progressive, and I've got Sachin with me. I said, that's brilliant. We can recreate a younger Sachin, 11-year-old, who would go on TV and would say, I never got scared of my future. I prepped for it, and that's what Aegis Federal does for you, right? We spent so much time engineering that character because there were no synthetic AI models available, right? I personally used to spend about 10 hours reading the script and create my clones. So that was never possible for Sachin out there. But things evolved, and you saw work which we did with Hrithik on the Raksha Bandhan campaign, and then the Super Maverick campaign on Shah Rukh Khan, not just a Cadbury ad, right? So a lot of campaigns evolved, and even the lead time kept coming down. And today when I speak about the Shah Rukh Khan campaign, we spent about 30 minutes of celebrity time to Pankaj Tripathi and Britannia, or we cloned the characters of Bumrah and Sky recently for ITC. No time spent at all, right? It was constantly data crawling and mastering it to perfection on the dialect side of it. And now we are talking about multimodal AI stack where AI gets voice and eyes. And on the first use case when you came over, I was saying that I need to really crack something for the visually impaired community in India, which is sits at about 5 million, right? And that's how you connected me to this genius, Amar Jain, and you really helped me shape a solution which we just are piloting today with the community. It's a retail shopping experience we have built along with Britannia, WPP and Google for visually impaired community. So they could pretty much scan a QR code, move into a retail store, and place their phone anywhere on the retail stack. And AI has now got eyes as well as voice. It's going to talk back at you, right? And we are really trying to solve for real life problems out there, right? And getting the community as part of it. I mean, the reason I spend time with you or so many media folks, or even MVS is invited now to our center, and we get to learn from so many leaders, and we get to constantly prototype it through our partnership. And that results in campaigns like these, right? And it's constantly evolving. So you obviously need a partner who is super agile, constantly spotting trends and shaping it for you. You cannot do that. I mean, you have your own business to take care of. And that's where partners or clients, they lean back on us, and we are able to do these brilliant, mind-blowing prototypes.
Yeah, and we have two marketers from financial services sector. So I want to ask you, if there is a problem that you guys want to solve for for anything, any probably enhance customer experience with AI, what would that be? MVS, let me begin by asking you, what would that problem be that you want to solve?
So a large part of what we experience in banks is that customers want speed, they want efficiency. So if there is the mundane stuff, which is standard, I don't mind it pushing it to AI and to agentic bots and stuff like that and let them manage it. But there are many reasons and many occasions why the customers would want to come and meet somebody in person.
Yeah.
So I'd want to have it. And I just want to sort of land this point here saying that For me, as a marketer in BFSI, and when I look at a large part of the service industry itself, it is not artificial, it's actually accentuated intelligence. So it works in parallel to the human intelligence which is there and creates aha moments for the brands. Because there are some times when customers don't want DIY mode pe ho, so just leave me at that. But I will have to go out and build both. The other thing is that, and the point which you were asking her and she mentioned is that there is going to be a possibility that AI will often be wrong, but never in doubt. And we will have to keep overseeing it. Because at the end of the day, and since you pegged it on banking and financial services, if we go wrong or if a customer gets a wrong kind of an advice, then the trust is eroded. So we have to be very, very careful. So from a creator's perspective, it's a very exciting time to be. But maybe some marketers will be a little calibrated because our businesses are like that. It's not that we are not excited about it. And hence, to conclude, what I'm trying to say is that you'll have two tracks which are running. One is for the DIY, which it can go out and do. And the other one is, I will still need a human touch.
But isn't it ironic because banking as a sector, embraced AI with open arms right at the beginning when other sectors were grappling with it?
No, but technology, always you will have the BFSI and banking taking it, head on or taking it with full gusto because there is a lot of broadside which is there. At the same time, because we are a regulated kind of an industry, more than the regulator regulating us, we need to regulate ourselves and curb our enthusiasm. It is exciting to play that shot outside the off stump. Yeah. But if you 7 baar out ho rahe ho, then maybe you need to just hold.
Step back, hold back, correct. Arvind, your thoughts on this?
So again, very similar. So I won't add, I won't repeat what Murthy said, but I think where, we found a lot of joy is in being able to, give each of our frontline employees, let's say, an administrative assistant who's a little intelligent, right? So whether it's by suggesting, let's say, a next best action or let's say, taking out some of the mundane things. So can a statement request that is coming over email be serviced over email, hands on the wheel? Lo and behold, they were about 50 when we began. Now it is over 10,000. Obviously, there is somebody, looking at it all the time. But yeah, like you rightly said, it's about making sure that we're constantly monitoring what's going on. And at the same time, we need to kind of be measured in some way of the kind of bets. But we're constantly cooking something. So the fact that, there is this agentic structure that's there, we do have some MVPs. It's not like we're going to put it out there, but we're going to keep it sandboxed. We're going to keep it in a place where we know that, here is a use case. Let's throw it in there. Let's experiment with it. And I think in that sense, banking and financial services, you have such a vast ability of use cases to put, and it doesn't have to necessarily face the customer.
Add to what he's saying, and you mentioned about this, but look at SEBI. They are using AI to help us go out and create IPO filing. That's the topmost end of use of AI. Somebody like me is now pushing a resume to the AI and saying that tell me if he's suitable for this job or no. And at a level of navel gazing, I am also checking what is my next level of growth going to be. So AI comes back and tells me, okay, you've done these kind of roles, but you're not still suitable for that. Yeah. But it is clearly happening across the spectrum, the highest level, which is SEBI in this case, and
what can you, Sheetal, over to you, what can you attain with help of AI when it comes to personalizing, your space in your sector?
So I think the thing with AI is that it's making every industry a service industry to some extent. You mentioned it for banking also. What it's really doing is creating an experience where we're becoming more humane with the help of AI support. So just a simple example, like in our centers, for people who come in, we have, people who come in, freelancers, on a day-to-day basis. So they could come in once a week or once a month. So when they come in, you have a seamless experience. You could be going to any center where, AI helps us identify who the person is, authenticates his Aadhaar, which you need for Wi-Fi, and he's left with all that time for him to connect with the human, center managers on other things. So, how it's really helping is that the mundane, tedious, have to be done things, which are a checklist, like your KYC, is becoming very seamless. However, the interaction that you really want to have with your people is about other things, even if it's the weather. And AI is bringing that about by making it simpler for us to get access to things.
Yeah. Final thoughts, Niraj, before we wrap, on what are some of the innovations that you are most excited about in this space going forward? You know, agentic AI was spoken about and you touched upon it, you know, right from the start of the year. But apart from that, you know, what else do we look forward to? And what are some of the solutions that you're driving for?
All right. So this year at WPP Stream, every year I go on the stage and demonstrate the next level which is coming up, and then we also talk about what we presented last year and what we delivered this year. This year was all about creating super duper hyper realistic digidoubles, right? If I scan you using a dome cam setup, and that's
Your
what
digital twin.
exactly looking like you, fully expressive, and it can also, again, I said 5G is about computing. So when you are invoking a digital person and you are creating a mental health helpline, for all you know, a brand decides to create, it can read expressions in runtime from the front camera. That's what computing does for you, right? So when a person is crying, the character is reading the expressions and it goes mellow. It's being coded to go empathetic, right? So characters that look like you and characters which will also have emotions in it, and they will be able to solve a lot of real life problems out there. Right? So the consumer CX or the look and feel of characters is going to get super duper elevated with language models, dialects kicking in. Your automation AI is going to get replaced. AI agents are going to move into workforce, as we all know. How effective they are going to be, we have to chase prototypes, use cases, and constantly work towards more deployments. Basically, that's how you learn out of it. But right now, the super exciting thing is the ability to render this the finest quality out of India. The setup which I use to render my DigiDouble is a Oscar-winning setup which is at Film City. I got myself scanned through a dome cam setup. Then I rendered it using Unreal Engine. Then I gave it an ASR, the audio speech platform, so they can speak and my character starts talking. The promo which I recorded for this particular event, which I messaged you, I also posted on LinkedIn, that's not me. That's my DigiDouble, but no one can make out. So all what I'm trying to say, the novelty value of AI is faded, which means the real value is here to get realized. So all the characters are going to be called out saying that this is an AI-powered character, but the content, the prompt engineering or the brand brains which Daniel spoke about, right? The content is going to be sheer fun, so that the consumer is going to fall in love with the content which is getting disseminated, right? What we did with Ravi Shastri and the kind of content which got disseminated on the cricket season, it was being coded to perfection, right? It cracks up people. On the fly, create advocates and people start sharing it. Look at this. Britannia mein Ravi Shastri ne mere ye question ka ye jawab diya. That's the era we are moving towards. It's not going to be one comms. It's going to be multi-comms, and the celebs are going to be everywhere in the household, taking that comms to the next level. You getting what I'm saying? Are you guys sharing my passion? Can we clap for this?
No, I'm just wanting to, we are actually in a matrix moment. Yeah. There are so many Neos out there who are doing so many multiple things, but there is one Neo who's at the back of the whole thing. And in this case, he is the one who's creating all of that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So the one who feeds the prompts rules the world. Yes. Isn't that so?
Meaningfully, I was just talking to you about it. Like India has so many problems, and with AI, you can really create solutions out there. Right? Every time I jam with Daniel, our global leader, he keeps telling me that you've got so much scope to deliver. I was taking him around on a drive and he was making a note on his notebook. I said, what are you doing? I said, for you, this is regular life. For me, these are problems. I'm going to give an assignment back to my team back home and even to you. Start working on it. You can work on solves, and so many of them.
All right. Thank you so much. We are out of time, but thank you so much. Thanks for joining us today. It was wonderful having all of you on the panel.